my colleague, the Honorable Minister for Information Technology, the respected Secretary of the Department, Kumaragurubaran, the CEO of Tanfinet, Kamal Kishore, one of our leading tech entrepreneurs, Mr. Murugavel Janagiraman, the many distinguished guests from India, from overseas, who are here today, ladies and gentlemen. First, thank you very much for your interest and for being partners with us in this major event that we hope is the beginning of a new era of IT innovation and rapid expansion of new companies and new technologies in Tamil Nadu. I want to put things in a historic perspective because I believe we're at a very historic moment. If you look at the transformation of economies, of societies, from the age of animal power through steam power, through the second wave of industrialization with the advent of electricity, and then of computing, all of those accelerated growth at a particular rate, each one probably faster than the last. If you look at the last 20 years or 30 years, at least in my adult lifetime, I remember when the first personal computer came out, made by IBM in the 1980s, I think, early 80s, when the first Windows machine came out in the early 90s. There was a period when the S-curve of computing had reached its maturity phase, and probably around the late 90s to the early 2000s, with the exception of the big dot-com boom and bust that happened, at the late 90s, the early 2000s. The real impact came from access to capital. Large mounds of capital were built up in the Western economies, in the United States, in Europe, and those were the drivers of growth. Those who had access to capital could scale. That has been profoundly changed ever since the universalization of internet access, and that's the key. It's not just the internet, but the universalization of access. Now, the greatest growth, the greatest economic activity, the greatest profit margins, the greatest wealth creation comes out of technology. Technology, at least for the foreseeable future, is going to be one of the key drivers of growth. We recognize very well that the Chief Minister, the Cabinet, all of us are vested in providing the right platform. But again, if I look at technology itself, there are different components that go into it. Like any other industry, human capital matters a lot. But there are large areas, countries, sometimes federations like the European Union, where labor is fungible. So even if you create great talent, you may find that it goes to some other place if you don't have the other variables right. For example, during the COVID lockdown, we discovered that Bangalore was much more staffed by Tamil specialists in IT than we expected. because people had to apply for passes to cross state borders. And only then we realized the extent of our Tamil youngsters, specialists, because we have the largest gross enrollment ratio, highest gross enrollment ratio, largest number of college seats. We were creating all this talent, and it was going to different places. Again, I look at the arc of history, and you take the United States, where most of us think, the Silicon Valley is the kind of mecca of innovation. It must be remembered that Silicon Valley was, sleepy farmland till the 60s, till the semiconductor revolution. And even then, it was only a hardware giant. So around the time I went to the United States as a graduate student, it was not clear that Silicon Valley would be the software giant, because companies like Microsoft that dominated the operating system and software industry were based out of places like Seattle. So there are some ecosystems that seem to sustain across many S-curves of many transitions. Silicon Valley eventually proved resilient enough, and because, even today, though it's starting to lose some of its sheen, and there's migration out to other parts of the United States, particularly to Texas, to Oregon, to Washington, it still is the center of gravity of innovation. Why I talk about that is, you take Tamil Nadu. We have the talent. We were the pioneers. We started creating things like tidal parks and setting up an IT department in the administration of the government much before other people saw the potential. And yet today, I must admit that we are not the leaders. It is, at least at a city level, cities like Bangalore and Hyderabad seem to have better ecosystems that draw talent, and our ecosystem has not been that good. So this is our time. Our time is now to use this transition, this new S-curve formation in things like fintech, IoT, applications to large-scale government or governance problems, and reclaim our spot, not just in Chennai, but across the state of Tamil Nadu, because it is our talent. We want to become the best ecosystem for innovation, for technology, and for providing the right kinds of careers and opportunities for wealth creation for our youngsters. There are probably 2 or 3 components to that. The first, as with anything else, is to continue to focus, as we have for 100 years in the Dravidian movement, on inclusive access and human capital development. I think it's beyond a doubt around the country today that Tamil Nadu has by far the best talented, educated young workforce there
We request all the delegates to kindly take your seat. The fire chat is about to happen and it's leapfrogging to the future with technology. Over the next decade, India's share of global ICT spending is expected to double over 10%. This will have far-reaching impact across themes, be it in government, industry, climate change, or creating new employment opportunities for the people. Let's put our hands together for our moderator, Joseph Abraham, founder and CEO of startup Atom, and Tirti Mano Thangaraj, Minister for Information Technology and Digital Services, Government of Tamil Nadu. Sir, the dais is all yours.
Thank you so much, and good morning, everyone. I trust you had a good morning and inaugural session. So now we're going to talk about how Tamil Nadu is leapfrogging to the future. And this chat is with the Honorable IT Minister. We will also look forward to having this continued conversations beyond this fire chat as well. And so very quickly, sir, the first question I have for you is that you've been to a lot of different places like GITEX and Slush, and then you envisioned this whole summit, right? And how do you really feel about this summit, and how was day one?
Good morning. Yeah, nice question. Actually, when I became the IT minister, I traveled to a few countries to know how the trend is, and really it gave a very good insight, especially GITEX, Slush, the Mobile Congress, and those kind of things. But at the same time, I was thinking, whenever we look at a country, developed country, seeing the automations that has happened and seeing the digitalization that has happened, and how the common man has access to technology in those countries, when I'll be able to bring these to my own people? So that's a question before me. And really we need to do something for our country. Wherever we go, we were able to see people from Tamil Nadu sitting in high posts as service providers in many countries, and they do well. But what about our state? How we have provided those kind of things to our people? That is a big question. So keeping that in mind, we thought of conducting a program like this. And really it's a very great thing that we have done with the cooperation of all the people. And now Tamil Nadu has got a good attraction because we have the potentials and everything we were able to showcase through this tech conference.
Right, sir. And this vision of the Honorable Chief Minister, the 1 trillion vision, is an amazing grand vision, and IT department is contributing about 10%, to this vision. How are you going to make this possible? What are the strategies that you have to make this possible?
Yes. Our Honorable Chief Minister, of course, a visionary leader, he has targeted $1 trillion economy 2030. Of course, it is a very challenging thing. There is no doubt in that. And we are well aware of it. The IT department, we have come up with a commitment that we will contribute at least 10% of the thing, that is $100 billion. So that it will be a good thing for the CM's commitment. So how to achieve it? Again, it's a question. And we have identified 6 growth areas like GCC, data centers, SaaS, ITS, creative services, and tech startups. And already Tamil Nadu is known to be the capital for SaaS. And we have very huge potential in creative services. That is also emerging. And when we think of tech startups, really, I'm so happy when I meet the students, I could see the innovative mindset, the creativity within themselves. So that can be explored properly. So entrepreneurship is also in our blood. So there is huge potential with the tech startups also. So keeping all these things in mind, we identify these growth areas, and in the coming days, we are going to focus on these things and how the government will be able to provide things to them. So we are discussing all these things.
Great, sir. So yesterday, it was an amazing day. We had close to about 15,000 registrations and over 44 sessions with 160 speakers, with 6,000 people joining us for the first day. It was a great day. And what is your personal perspective on all of this?
Now I know the challenges. Now we were little what we say, scared how this is going to happen. Because whenever I go and attend some international conferences, I could see the crowd moving and all, but nobody sits in the conference hall to listen to the speakers. But when a speaker comes to the stage, the punishment that somebody can give him is not listening. Any speaker will get embarrassed. So really, really telling, and I must thank all the delegates and participants who are here. It was such a wonderful thing that happened yesterday. And speaker after speaker told me that they were so pleased by the participation of the delegates who are here. All the halls were flooding with the crowd, and really very wonderful. The topics that we selected and the speakers we have selected. Very nice. And we got a very good feedback from the media, the press, and all the participants. A nice thing that has happened yesterday.
That's really nice to know. And thanks to all of you for making this possible and making this a success. So let's give a round of applause to ourselves, right, for making this happen. Great. So moving on to yesterday's announcement that you made about tech cities. There are 3 tech cities that the Honorable CM has envisioned. It was announced in the budget session, and now yesterday you made an announcement about even the allocation and the earmarking of the place, right? Can you just talk a little bit more about what is this tech cities and how is it going to really make it an innovative ecosystem here?
Yes, any government, if you want to do something or we want to achieve something, we should have proper vision. That's the first thing, a vision with a goal that this government and especially the IT department is having. The first thing. The second thing is about the strategy. How we are going to strategize to achieve the vision. That you may be knowing, right from appointing a proper advisory council for IT department to announcing programs. We are very successful in the last 2 years. Especially when I say that the government should come up with the policies that should be friendly to the industry, and the policies should not compromise with the interest of the people. So we should have a balance, and we have done it. So the policy level, we have taken initiative. Then providing basic infrastructures and a move towards good governance. That is also happening with this government. And when we think of other things like the government's initiative to support the ecosystem by means of R&D, that's what I feel. So we have initiated the IT and the hub kind of thing. That's a great thing we can see. And taking into consideration the need of the industry, we need to provide proper talent to the industry. So we need to create industry-ready talent, and that part is well taken care of by the government of Tamil Nadu. So these things, this will actually add on to what we say. As far as infrastructure is concerned, you may be knowing that we have very good infrastructures already in place. And with regard to connectivity, we are already implementing the 1,800 crore project of connecting 2025 village panchayats through TANFINET. And adding to that, now we have got a proposal with us for 190 crore to give last mile connectivity, as well as now the government has given 400 crore for connecting it the state and the district level. So once these programs are done, we will have a very strong infrastructure with regard to connectivity. And apart from that, we have all the things like road, rail, airport, these kind of things, and water facility, energy, these kind of things we are really addressing. So these are all going to contribute in a best way, and I hope the government will take care of the requirements. And the second thing is about the ease of doing business. Of course, we have done a lot of things in that, and in the ease of doing business, we have come up at the national level to the, I think, the third or fourth position, I think. So that part also we are working down, but still the industry had a lot of certain concerns that we are assuring that we will sort out all those things to the maximum possible extent.
And can you also little bit stress on the IT Nanban portal, which helps, people to do business with ease, setting up things with ease, and all of those aspects as well, and how IT Nanban is helping to foray into this whole space.
Actually, the IT Nanban initiative is to make a proper link with all the IT people who are stakeholders of IT sector. And previously, what I saw, when we took charge as minister, there is no proper dialogue or discussions happening between the academia, industry, as well as the government. That needs to be addressed. So we immediately thought of doing certain things, and we interacted with the various stakeholders of the sector, and it has brought very good results. We got very good ideas how we should run the show, not theoretically, but the practical thing. And the outcome, I can tell you, now many of the colleges are now interacting with the industry, and they are sending their students, they are sending their faculty, and the faculty is turning towards what I say, not merely teaching students with the theoretical knowledge, but also they understand the requirement of the industry. They get exposed to the industrial ecosystem, and in that way, changes happen. So many kind of things we can say like this. In the policy making also, previously the government prepares the policy, but without consulting the stakeholders. But we are doing it in the reverse way. We are consulting, then we are circulating the draft proposals, we are getting their opinions, and then we are bringing it. So that the industry is also very happy about. So these kind of changes in the style of functioning of the government is really being appreciated by the industry. That's what I feel, and I get the feedback.
Great, sir. You are very passionate about climate change and circular economy, and you've taken various initiatives back in your constituency as well. So can you elaborate a little bit about how you are, taking the steps towards climate tech and ensuring that climate tech is also part of the main agenda?
Yeah, really, I'm very much into it because my life is my experience. Whatever I speak, it is out of my experience, not out of theory. And I don't have so much of theoretical knowledge. Also. Now, I could tell you two things. It will be beneficial for all those people who are sitting here. Say, for example, my district. Kanyakumari district is a district blessed by God, I would say. Because in Tamil we say there is 5 kinds of land. Kurunji, Mullai, Marudam, Neidal, Palai. And the Palai is a difficult one and we don't have it. All the 4 kinds of land we have. You see, we had a treasure of 4,500 ponds created by forefathers. Just imagine, by the time I don't think there were JCB or Bookline or tipper or something like that. But just imagine how they might have done it. Each pond is being connected with a proper irrigation system with inlets, outlets, channels, and so many kind of things. It was done wonderfully, and we had 3 dams, 3 rivers, and 2 streams. All these things, just imagine how they might have created. Now it has come down to 2000 something, and that too very poorly maintained. It is only because of human interaction. I can tell you. We simply send the wastewater into the stormwater drain, and that is taken to the low-lying areas, polluting everything and damaging the entire ecosystem. Now, such a district having the potential and having water availability to cultivate 105,000 acres of land is come down with just 3,000 acres of cultivation this year. You just imagine, the capacity is 105,000 and we have water. But now it has come down to 3,000. What we are going to do with it? So the agrarian crisis is going to increase like anything. You just take a village or a municipality or a corporation, whatever it is, and study the volume of waste that is being generated. And is there any mechanism to dispose it? You take, for example, the Department of Water Supply. Ask them how much water you are supplying to a household. And then ask them whether there is a mechanism to manage the wastewater. So no, we supply water, but there is nothing we think about managing the wastewater. So solid waste management, liquid waste management, water resource management, all these things have become a very big challenge. The cutting down of trees, the social forestry coming down. And say, for example, you just say, I used to think of this thing. You take a computer in the 80s or 90s. Within 20, 30 years, you see the growth. It is tremendous. It is 1,000 times better than one that was in those days. In 20 years, it has happened. But you see a motorbike or you see a car, the amount of emissions or the capacity of the engine. So a lot of innovations we need to do. We talk of solar and kind of things. And I have very bad experiences putting solar panels on the battery that we use. Lot of innovations has to be done busy. For what she's busy, I don't know. So these kind of things have. The prediction has totally gone wrong. We are enjoying so much of things. Life has become easy in certain ways. But at the same time, the prediction that he has given has totally in the other side. So like, people thought that technology will do away the jobs. Right. But it is giving clear opportunity for more and more jobs. So I had the similar thought that before becoming minister. So when technology comes, people will be stranded. They will not get opportunities. But you see, there is very good scope. Why we have identified these 6 growth areas? The growth areas in the sense, these 6 areas have the potential to bring in investments and also have large potential to accommodate our students, young stage, for jobs. They have very good potential for job opportunities. So considering the emerging technology that is coming up like AR, VR, or whatever, IoT, things like that. And I have the strong hope that robotics is going to play a vital role. We saw the experiment that happened with the Meditech, those kind of things, and drones. And there is a necessity for these kind of things, When the robots perform the operations kind of thing, it is so accurate that then we cannot even imagine whether one will be able to. Telemedicine also, you see, when we use AI kind of thing, the doctor will be able to get the thing done with crores of patients properly diagnosed through data analytics and the kind of thing. So these are all going to add value to the particular department. So by the time, the people should be trained in such a way to handle those kind of things. So for these kind of things, our younger generation people should be given proper training in those kind of emerging technologies. That's why we have to create such systems like Center of Excellences, and IT&D is one of the thing. Otherwise, we will be down the ladder. Somebody who will be concentrating on this will automatically go up, and we will not be able to find where we are. So we are focusing on that.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for answering patiently to all these questions. In conclusion, and as we draw this whole fireside, to a close, what is your vision for Umagine? What's going to happen next? Is a continual progress, so what's going to happen next with Umagine?
So actually, the Umagine is a very great success. Now, many people were with us. If I go on naming them now, it will create a problem. So all of them were here, and I'm so happy. They all supported us without expecting anything from us. Even we were unable to recognize also, and they all supported that this IT department has taken an initiative. We'll be supporting you. That's the only word I can hear from them. And in properly putting things in place, there were challenges, but everything went well. And I hope today and tomorrow it will be a great success. And of course, now we are making all efforts to properly evaluate how people feel, how the facilities are, what are the other requirements we need. All these kind of things we are making. And with all the people who supported us and from the participants, we are trying to get a proper feedback. And this thing, all these things will be rectified. And next year, we will plan in a very best way. So this time also, I never expected that our target was 10,000. But day before yesterday, we closed the registrations when we reached 15,000. Because we were totally taken to surprise how we are going to manage things, the food and things like that has to be taken care, how it is going to be. But this has given a very good experience for us, and the entire team is so happy and delighted. And we have got very nice encouragement from the participants that we need to go further. And Umagine should be the best in the, I can say, world level tech conference. And it's a great thing, when we provide this kind of technology conference to our students. I can't just imagine. Me as a minister, I wanted to attend a technology conference. I have no other way except to travel to Dubai or United States or some developed country. No other way. I cannot go and see something in India. I didn't see. So it is such an opportunity for the participants also to attend such a conference, to attend so much of discussions that is happening, eminent speakers coming, their speeches and everything, it's really amazing. So next year we will plan in the best way possible. And we will sort out all the pitfalls what we had. And it will be a wonderful thing. I hope so.
Thank you so much for your time, and let's put a, let's give a round of applause to the Minister, Honorable Minister, and thank you so much.